Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, just by way of comparison, if you looked at South Africa pre-1994 as this incredibly healthy, fit person, and we're talking about the financial side, okay? I mean, everything was going swimmingly well. And what has happened over the last 25 years is that through corruption, the blood of that body, which is just keeping it so healthy, which is the finances, has been just stripped out of it. And what you got left today is basically a carcass. And, you know, it's got very little left to take out of it. And you can put that problem fairly and squarely at the feet of the ANC government. Consecutive ANC governments under Mandela, Mbeki, Zuma, and now most recently Ramaphosa. And tragically, the last two presidents have had a huge amount of corruption in their government. Huge amount of corruption. And that's where this body is just kind of just collapsed, and it's just, you know, it's like in its death throes now when we talk about the finances. It's got very little more blood to give. And that's why it's so disturbing when you read reports about what is happening in the municipalities in South Africa. Because the municipalities in South Africa are in a terrible state. Absolutely shocking state. And, you know, you have to go no further than Durban as an example, but you could basically go anywhere. But I lived in Pinetown, so I know Durban so well. I know how everything there just ran so smoothly. Today, Durban is a carcass, metaphorically speaking. Listen to this. The state of public toilets in South Africa's major cities is a damning indictment of the political establishment's contempt for millions of impoverished and working-class people who endure the indignity of relieving themselves in public every day. Dora Khumalo has grey hair and a wide smile. The 63-year-old grandmother has been a street trader since she was 13 and runs a clothing store situated in the massive passenger nexus at the entry of the Warwick Triangle on the edge of Durban's CBD, or Central Business District. As she has aged, Khumalo's life has become more difficult, notably because she struggles to squat over a 5-litre bucket and simultaneously cover herself with a plastic sheet when she has to urinate at work. Warwick Triangle is a lively market beneath a highway overpass where bus, rail, taxi and car passengers converge daily and jostle for a few functioning public toilets. Khumalo suffers from backache, but this pales in comparison to the humiliation of having to urinate on the roadside in full view of some of the 500,000 people who traverse Warwick Triangle every day. She is not alone in this indignity. On the pavement, pools of urine fester close to food vendors. Khumalo's clothing store is within meters of one of the precious few public toilets in the city, but they aren't always working. She says that where there are toilets, they are often filthy, fly-infested, broken or blocked. This is despite the efforts of a toilet attendant who works in the area. She says that the attendant is a dedicated worker who tries hard in the face of the municipality's failing support and the high demand for few toilets. Eventually responding to the questions, eThekwini municipality officials provided some information about the state of public toilets. There are sufficient ablution facilities to meet the demand, said the city spokesperson, conceding a few lines later that there is a high usage rate with queues throughout the day. Suffice it to say, most officials or politicians clearly haven't had to use an inner-city public convenience in a while. The dearth of public facilities in Warwick Triangle is replicated across the city, where entrances to many bus stops' toilets are simply fenced off. They're unusable. And you know, I put a video up a few weeks ago about the toilets in one particular hospital in the Gauteng area. It was just disgusting. Half of the toilets and the urinals and the actual male toilets were blocked, weren't working. They were kind of taped off. This is in a hospital. And in one of the urinals, you could actually see the urine just sitting there. It wasn't going down. It wasn't going anywhere. This is in a public hospital. The public toilets in a public hospital. Disgusting. Remember I was talking about the carcass kind of lying there on its last legs because of the financial woes? All the blood's been drained out of it by these vultures. Anyway, continuing. Patrick Ndlovu is a co-founder of Asi Etefweni, AET, a non-governmental organization, or NGO, that works with street traders. Toilets run by the city, the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, or the eKhwezi Transport Authority are ridiculously inadequate, he said, which explains why every concrete pillar in Durban is a urinal. It's like taking your dog for a walk, you know. Ndlovu has been working with traders and commuters in Warwick Triangle since 1986, first as a city official and for the past decade with AET, which he co-founded with architect and fellow council manager Richard Dobson. AET conducted details of Warwick toilets in 2016 and 2017. The NGO recorded 23 functioning toilets in Warwick and the Central Business District, plus 3 portable toilets, 2 pissoirs or public urinals, and 6 urinating troughs. The study found to be a recurring complaint from both toilet attendants and users, drugs, violence and theft were often cited, as well as the issue of female attendants being assigned to clean male toilets. One anonymous comment given to AET summed up the user experience. The toilets are dirty and broken. You only go in because you are desperate. You know what that sounds like? Again, we got this carcass lying on the ground. It sounds like the health system. You only go into a hospital if you're really desperate. That's where South Africa is today. Everything is reaching that level of desperation. The city has a complicated hierarchy of departments tasked with different aspects of public spaces, meaning that in Durban 4 departments are involved in public toilets, but no single department is responsible. AET's report says this makes for an unclear chain of command and contested solutions about public facilities. Dobson said that a long history of deferred maintenance and ad hoc repairs have created tenuous systems that could be fixed, but in the meantime the city seems averse to innovation. Dobson said, "We designed toilets that are unashamedly robust and not necessarily pretty, but they are safe, functional and easy to clean and repair. They could offer users a more dignified experience. Dignity seems a further thing for those who work on the pavements in the vicinity, to say nothing of how pretty the toilets may be." Kamalo's colleague, Aurelia Gamedi, is 68 years old and a diabetic. She has to go to the bathroom about 5 times a day. When the toilets are shut, she and others share Kamalo's bucket and shrug off the shame. It is embarrassing, but what else can we do? Kamalo says suspended Durban Mayor Zamili Gumedi would never use a Warwick Triangle toilet. Definitely not. We asked the City Business Support Unit if we could take care of the toilets, but they said no. This is an ironic comment, considering that City Press reported earlier this year that charges the now suspended mayor faces, including how she and others allegedly orchestrated a tender scam that saw the municipality pay 25 million rand to hire and clean chemical toilets for 6 months. Previously, it cost the municipality 3 million rand to hire the same toilets for 3 years, according to the newspaper. You can see the scams and why the blood is just pouring out of this corpse. Perhaps the best public toilets at Warwick Triangle are run by an energetic young man who identifies himself only as Brian. He busies himself mopping the floor of a toilet the eKhwezi Transport Authority had outsourced to a private cleaner. And Glover says the person with a cleaning contract is seldom there, which has created a gap for Brian, who cleans in return for tips. As well in Nkosi Ngofusaza bootlegs CDs from a table directly opposite Brian's toilets. He uses the facility 4 times a day. He says people are happy to leave Brian 2 rand or 5 rand coins for his trouble, which is what people pay at a shopping centre around the corner from City Hall, where there are public bathrooms. Yet only 2 of the 7 stalls in the men's toilet work. The rest are barricaded shut with emergency tape, and the attendant there says they've been broken since 2010. And Glover says Brian's toilets aren't supplied with paper, but there's never a shortage. Instead, there's a brisk trade in toilet paper. Likewise, disinfectant is also in high demand in Warwick. Muti seller Simon Gameri spends 50 rand a month on disinfectant cleaner, Jay's Fluid. His stall is beneath the Johannes and Nkosi flyover into town, just meters from the road, where he sells jackal and baboon hides and an array of potions. Every morning I sprinkle my area with jays and water. When it rains, the sewage pushes up through the manhole covers, and I pay a young guy to sweep the shit along with a broom. I'm healing people here. It can't be dirty. I understand if people have to go. I just ask them to go further away. Did you hear that? The sewage comes out through this drain, and he talks about the shit, sweeping the shit away. This is in Durban. This is the rotting carcass of South Africa. It is absolutely disgusting. And Lovo remembers traders being shot in Brook Street for remonstrating with a man who defecated on the pavement. Not far from the Muti cellar is a city cleaner who asked not to be named for fear of victimization. Her job is to pick up piles of feces around the toilets, deposited overnight or early in the morning when the toilets are locked. The cleaner has gloves, a face mask and a broom. I can tell you how demotivating it is coming to work. I think about what I will have to do. It is so degrading. I pick it up and put it in plastic bags. It is especially bad on Saturday mornings because a lot of people go to the shebeens on Friday. The cleaner steers clear of certain areas, such as behind the walls of AET's offices. A rat scurries around and a mangy-eyed dog eyes the underpass littered with piles of human feces. Tony Pillay, a bus rank foreman, shakes his head angrily. Some of his passengers travel for 90 minutes to reach town. As soon as they arrive, many need a toilet, but they are either busy, closed, or too vile to use. Look around you. There is shit everywhere. It's terrible, he exclaims. Alfred Gove is a trader who travels to Durban using taxis, and he says, the toilets here are the most dysfunctional, so you go in the street. It is embarrassing. The smell is so bad. Gove says broken toilets encourage vandalism and bad behavior. If there is no water to wash your hands, or if the toilets don't work or the floors are dirty, then people will have no respect and piss anywhere. Udlova says the city's response to the problem is completely inadequate. Ekatwini passed a bylaw a few years ago making urinating in public illegal. It carries a fine of 4,000 rand. Ndlovu laughs. He's not aware of anyone ever being fined to date. Raymond Perrier, director of the Dennis Hurley Centre, which assists homeless people in Durban, says repeated complaints about public toilets have fallen on deaf ears. The city's disdain for the subject means politicians and officials are criminalizing poverty. And you get what he's talking about there. You can't get into a public toilet, but if you go and piss on the street, it's a 4,000 rand fine. But what do? You've got no option. So they're criminalizing the position of these poor people. It is absolutely disgusting. The few toilets at work are only open between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., which immediately excludes the 2,000 homeless people in Durban. Until the mayor or any councillor can prove they use a public toilet, it's difficult to take what they say on the subject seriously, Perrier said. There's a public toilet near the Dennis Hurley Centre that has been broken for a year, and officials complain when people urinate in public. Where else are they supposed to go? Public toilets should be private and dignified. Now, that's just one little area of the whole catastrophe that's going on in South Africa. Now, with Ebola on the march through Africa, and I haven't talked about Ebola until now, it's now spreading into Kenya, and there are a lot of people who are traveling from South Africa into Kenya and back again. If Ebola breaks out in South Africa, with this situation with the public toilets, which is totally disgusting, with the health system in a complete disarray, the crisis of Ebola in South Africa could be a complete catastrophe. You know, the country is like sitting on a tightrope, and it just needs somebody to shake it, and it's going to just go. Now, there's a heck of a lot more I could say about the municipalities. I mean, there is so much information about what is going on. It is absolutely... And I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. The Auditor General of South Africa, Kimi Makwetu, has once again laid bare the enormity of his job, describing the difficulty of not only compiling the 2017-2018 municipal audit reports, but also the continued dismissal of his office's recommendations by politicians and civil servants. And this is what he found. This is an official audit of the municipalities, including Durban, which is obviously falling foul of the law. And excuse the pun. 1. Only 18 out of 257 municipalities in South Africa received clean audits. 2. 1 in 3 municipalities spend more than they earn. 3. Only 6 of the 9 provinces had municipalities with clean audits. 4. Municipalities owe Eskom 9.12 billion rand as of June 2018. It's a heck of a lot more now. We know that. I mean, even Soweto owes more than that, just as one little area. 5. Financial taps run dry. Municipalities owe water boards 5.85 billion rand as of June 2018. 6. 18% of councils did not have municipal managers at some stage during the 2017-2018 financial year. 7. Financial officers stay in their position an average of 37 months. 8. 97 municipalities awarded contracts worth 501 million rand to family members of employees. 9. 921 million rand in municipal contracts were issued to other state officials. 10. 8 municipalities did not submit their financial statements by the 31st of January 2019. And now that is quite incredible. You know, the whole state of play in South Africa is a complete disaster. And it's because of mismanagement from the very top. You'll notice that with all these reports I hand up, it's not a John Smith or a Peter van Rensburg. It's something Ndlovu or whatever who's running that particular municipality or that particular side of things. And I'm not trying to slur these people, but they're there because of BEE. Most of them are totally incompetent. And I'd say most of them as well are totally corrupt, like that Durban mayor, who's facing huge fraud charges. And, you know, walking around as if she did nothing wrong, because it's all par for the course. She's part of the Zuma camp. That's what they do. They all put their hands in the trough, and they think that's cool. That's part of their job. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates, and have a great day. Bye for now.